It's kind of frustrating, but I am number 4 online for the game of real estate, and you watch my content, which means there's something I'm teaching you that you like. And so here's my question, have you started your real estate portfolio? Is it on its way? Are you crushing? Are you making money? Are you building long-term legacy wealth? Listen, if you're following me and you don't own investment grade real estate yet, we gotta change that. Something is missing, which is why today I'm gonna share with you the top definitive 7 reasons on why you want to be a multimillionaire in the game of real estate before you consider any other wealth strategy.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Just to be clear, I don't even really like real estate. Not even really a whole lot at all. The only reason why I got in the game is because when I was in college, I couldn't find a career that I really fell in love with, right? I tried to be a doctor. I was told I was too dumb to be a doctor. I failed organic chemistry twice and I bailed, and I'm like, shoot, college is just about getting a job, and then you get the job, and then you 401k and you IRA, and then you wind up poor. And I'm like, I just didn't get it. So the whole game of real estate really was just about everyone leave me the freak alone. I want to live life on my terms, and I just want to be a free human being. In other words, real estate equals freedom, which is why within 5 years of choosing that real estate was going to be how I became financially free, and from the time that I decided I wanted to be financially free through real estate, 5 years later, I had 25 homes. And on all 25 of those homes, barring one of them, and on the first home, I did come up with a $3,300 down payment. After that, I never put any of my money into real estate ever again. And so 25 homes producing each about $500 a month positive cash flow meant that I now had over $12,000 a month of residual income. So when I graduated college with that portfolio, I didn't have to get a job. All my buddies were going into the careers, and I'm like, see ya, I'm gonna do my own thing, which is kind of nothing, because that's what really financially free means. I was literally retired, I was done. Now, truth is I didn't stay retired very long. I took that freedom and then I fell in love with helping other people build wealth. So that next year, 25 homes became 50, and then it became 100, and now it's been 2 decades, and I've got $2 billion worth of real estate in my track record. So I love to partner with people. I love teaching people. I want to make sure that you can build your portfolio investing in real estate. And there are 7 major reasons why you can't ignore real estate. There's a reason why 90% of all millionaires do it in the game of real estate. Let's give you all 7 of these reasons right now. Rental properties generate consistent cash flow through monthly rent payments. Unlike stocks, real estate provides a tangible asset that can yield rental income over time. And unlike a job, the money will always come as long as there is a tenant. It doesn't matter how many hours you work. After I bought my very first property, I remember buying my first investment property that me and my wife didn't live in, and it had $600 of leftover money every month. We collected $1,600 every month on rent, but all of our expenses in the mortgage came out to $1,000. And I remember when my wife called me in, she said, Kris, there's $600 left over every month on this. What am I supposed to do with that? I'm like, what do you mean? What are you supposed to do with that? You put it in the bank and then you have more money. She's like, no, I get that, but I don't know what to do with it. And I'm like, what have you been doing with it? She's like, I've been getting us out of credit card debt. And that has a smile on her face. She was so happy to get out of debt land, and she equated real estate with having this leftover money. And the $600 showed up every single month. First tenant was there 3 years. They were almost never late on any of their payments. And so for my wife, it was just this $600 is steady. It comes in every month. But Kris, you don't work for that. The money shows up, and you don't have to trade time for it. No one's calling you to repairs. I did this little thing called a lease option. It's a rent to own. Basically, I said, you can rent it until you buy it, but you have to fix up everything along the way. I'm not gonna do that for you. This is not a typical landlord kind of relationship. And everyone was always fine with that, so I never got any weird phone calls to work. So my wife was right. Unlike my job that needed my time to pay me money, real estate didn't. It just paid me, and it was steady. Number 2, the second reason to love real estate is because of the appreciation potential. Are you aware in the last 65 years that real estate appreciates an average of 4.6% every single year? Lately, it's been a lot more than that, and it's gonna continue being that for quite some time because we're missing millions of homes in this country, and it's gonna take close to a decade to resolve that. And in the meantime, with rates coming down, prices are gonna keep on booming. They're gonna keep going up. Real estate tends to appreciate in value over the long term. As demand increases and supply remains limited, property values rise. You can benefit from both rental income and property appreciation at the exact same time. So it's whoa. My asset pays me this steady income every month, and then the value of my asset also just goes up with time. Number 3, passive income. In other words, you don't have to work for the money. This is kind of a big deal because most people, they're stuck in the rat race because when they want more money, they got to trade more time. Real estate essentially helps you escape the rat race where it's just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. The more properties you own, the more money you get, but it doesn't take more of your time. Once it's set up, rental properties provide passive income. Property management companies can handle the day-to-day tasks, basically allowing you to focus on your life, your pursuits, the things that you want to do. In other words, I own the real estate, but I'm not the operator. It pays me money. I don't have to do the work. Number 4, leverage. This is one of the coolest things about the game of real estate. Like, let's just say you worked your butt off and you saved up $50,000, like a ton of money. It could be in a 401k or an IRA or equity in a home. You got this $50,000 and you're like, oh man, I want to buy into Tesla. I heard they're getting into robots. Well, $50,000 can buy you $50,000 worth of Tesla stock. That's it. But in real estate, $50,000 will buy you a $250,000 home. Basically, $50,000 is a 20% down payment if you're an investor. The bank will put up the other 80%. And here's the cool thing. Banks love real estate and they want to lend it to you over and over and over again. They want you to put a small amount down and they want to take on the rest of the risk because they know that real estate over time is a very safe bet. Real estate allows you to use leverage, basically borrowed money, to purchase properties. By putting down a fraction of the property's value, you control the entire asset. And if the property appreciates, your return on your investment or your ROI increases. So my wife and I did not put 20% down on our first property. We bought a property that we were going to live in and rent out the basement for extra income. And that house, just like today, required a 3% down payment. So it's not even 20%. And if you take a look at a $300,000 home, 3% down payment is like $15,000. The bank will put up 97% of the money. And I want you to think about that. They're taking on a majority of the risk because they know that at all costs, you're going to make your payment. Hence, one of the biggest reasons why I choose real estate over the stock market is because of the 5-to-1 lending ratio. I literally, whatever my ROI is in real estate is going to be literally 5 times bigger, which is why it's like, hey, Kris, in the stock market on the 30-year average, I made 6% on the S&P. And I'm thinking, cool, multiply that by 5. 6 times 5 is 30%. In real estate, I usually average well over 30%. Same dollar invested, but I'm getting 5 times more money back. That's called leverage. Number 5, tax advantages. Like, this is kind of a big deal because you want to be wealthier, right? And the more money you make, whether you have a successful career or you end up learning how to invest and make a lot of money, you're going to have to give Uncle Sam their fair portion. And the problem is that the more money you make, the more they're going to extract taxes on you. And so you start thinking, okay, I've got to be tax savvy, tax smart. No, I'm not talking about your CPA that's like, oh yeah, let's write off your cell phone and like a percentage of your house. It'll save you a few $100. I'm like, no. I'm talking about the real stuff where you eliminate your taxes. Well, do you know what the number 1 tax write-off is, period? It's called real estate. You see, the government says a home is going to wear out over time. And as it wears out, you have to put money back into it to keep it up. And what we think you should be able to do is depreciate that, meaning write it off over time. And we think that the whole house more or less is going to be replaced over 27 and a half years, which means you can take a $300,000 property and take a 27th of it every single year and basically write it off. Now, a 27th of a $300,000 house is just over $10,000. And if you were to rent out that property, you're not going to get $10,000 in positive cash flow. You might get $5,000 or $6,000 in positive cash flow that year, which means that all of the positive cash flow is tax-free, and there's several $1,000s left over that you then get to apply to your income, and it makes your income drop. Every time you buy a house, everything it gives you in positive cash flow is tax-free, and then on your income, it drops, which is why I started buying so much real estate that it kept dropping my income, where it was like, the more real estate I own, the more money I make, but the less taxes I pay. I was making even more money at my job. I never paid taxes on the first 7 years because of depreciation. And by the way, that's not the only tax write-off, but it's so meaningful that if you have a tax problem, you got to buy more real estate. But Kris, when I sell that real estate someday, I'm going to have to pay taxes, and they call that capital gains. Like, I invested money, it went up in value, I'm going to have to pay tax on that. Then it becomes ordinary income, I'll have to pay tax on that. Guys like us in real estate, we never pay taxes. We do this thing called the 1031 exchange. We basically say, you're right, I sold the house. I have all this money, I have all this profit. I should pay taxes on it, but instead, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to transfer it into a few more houses. And now I'm gonna defer it so I don't have to pay it. And it's like, wait a second, Kris. Now you're gonna get positive cash flow on 3 homes instead of 1. And then you're gonna depreciate 3 homes instead of 1. And you're not even gonna pay like taxes on that on your ordinary income. Like, that's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm gonna keep on doing it, baby. I'm never gonna stop. We are gonna rock this all night long, decade after decade, and never pay taxes. Real estate investors enjoy tax benefits such as depreciation, but also writing off the mortgage interest deductions, property tax deductions, and those deductions can significantly reduce your taxable income. And if you become a successful enough real estate investor, you just don't pay taxes. By the way, if you want real estate to make you financially free and develop a model where you never have to pay taxes again, you're definitely gonna wanna click the link below, because here's the cool hack. You can go and do all this yourself, it's kinda hard, or you can partner with me and I'll do 100% of the work, we'll split all the benefits, and people all over the world basically say that is the best deal since sliced bread. Number 6, control, tangibility, and inflation hedge. Unlike stocks where you have no control over company decisions, real estate gives you direct control, as in you own it. You can do whatever the heck you want with it. You can't control the stock market, you can't control the real estate market, but you have way more control in the real estate game than you do in the stock market. You can improve the property, raise rents, enhance its value. Real estate also outpaces inflation, the 100-year average on inflation, 3.1%. Real estate goes up an average of 4.65%. And if you invest with me in the markets where I go, it tends to be a much bigger number than that. As prices rise, so do rental incomes and property values, and basically everything goes up. If you buy one investment property in 5 years, it should be 3. And by year 10, it should be 10. And then after that, it should be 30. And more properties equals more steady income, more passive income, more leverage control, more tax write-offs. So more is more. And the 7th and final benefit I'm gonna cover today is long-term wealth building. Real estate is a long-term investment, and over time it accumulates wealth through rental income, appreciation, and also think about this, my tenants, they're paying off the house for me. Like, I've outsourced the reduction of the debt, because did you know that every month that your tenants give you a rent check, that you pay your mortgage and a part of that goes to the interest? A large part of that goes to the interest in the beginning, but a part of that goes towards principal. And basically they're gonna help pay off the house for you. How cool is that you can buy like a $200,000 or $300,000 home and say, hey, you people over there, I want you to pay that off for me. And you know what? We're gonna do it 100 more times. And all you folks, I know you want a house, but I need your help in this trade of life. I need you to pay off all of my stuff. I'm gonna get rich. I'm gonna get rich if I do this. It's just smart. Kind of a sobering moment for me, however. My neighbor from where I used to live, super good man, had built a net worth into the hundreds of millions of dollars. He's in his 60s and he just passed away from cancer. And I just got that news this morning. It's hitting home because he was so sweet and kind to my family and my children when we lived there. And I think about how much that hurts, but I also can't stop thinking about what he's left behind for his family. And I don't mean an inheritance, I mean a legacy. I mean that he's created something that is going to continue to build, and it continues to give to charity, and it continues to help his family and his grandchildren, his posterity. That is one of the cool things about the game of real estate, is that it will outlive you if you do it the right way, and it will become a greater benefit year over year to you, but then generation after generation, it continues to do that for so many other people, and you get to direct who you want to help, how you want to help. You get to make a big difference in the world. There is one downside of investing in real estate that I should warn you of. Every day you don't own real estate is a day you get further and further behind. You need time on your side for real estate to make sense, because if you buy it today, you're not going to be rich tomorrow. But in a decade or two, you're going to be a multi-millionaire, but you got to get started. And there's so many people that are saying, Kris, I'm not getting started because I'm afraid and I feel like I'm out on my own, or I don't know, I don't feel called to be like the guy that reads the books and takes the course and does the thing. And I'm like, there is a solution for you. Now, there is only one Kris Krohn in the world, and this Kris Krohn does something really interesting. He says, partner with me. I have a track record with over 1,000 partners on thousands of properties, building portfolios, building wealth, and helping people, and helping you build and grow your wealth without putting time, effort, and attention into it. If you want to learn about what that looks like, I want you to click the link below, fill out your information, and connect with me and my team and say, hey, I want to look more into this game of partnering. Like, what does it really mean? You see, my ultimate hack for how I financially grow in life is I always ask, who's at the top of the learning curve? Who learned all the lessons? Who made all the mistakes? And can I work with them? And when I work with them and we partner up, even if I'm splitting all of my wealth 50-50 with them, but they're doing 100% of the work, here's kind of the cool thing. I'm getting top tier results that would take me years, maybe even lifetimes to get to if it's not in my purpose and it's not in my wheelhouse. With me, you get both. Click the link below, learn about partnering. Let's build wealth together. Kris, investing sounds good, but I haven't even bought a house for me and my family. Like, if that's my next move, like, how do I get started? Like, how do I do that intelligently? Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, most people buy their first house wrong because they buy it as a home. Like, this is for me and it's gonna be amazing, it's gonna have all the upgrades, versus buy a house, not a home. Make sure it's also doubling as an investment property. Make sure that it's smart, buy it the right way. And if you don't know what that means, watch this video right now, let me teach you.